So Angelo, I'm excited to catch up with you here at DTW Ignite in Copenhagen. Google Cloud had some interesting announcements, we'll get to those, but maybe help us set the stage a little bit. I know you participated in a session where you looked at how AI is helping CSPs drive positive business outcomes. Maybe give us a bit of an overview. What are they getting right? Where's there room for improvement?
Listen, we put out a white paper in collaboration with TM Forum actually, and we focused on the trends that we're seeing in the industry, where telcos are leaning into AI not just for efficiency or productivity gains, but where it's almost like they're using it as a platform to reinvent their business. And the areas that we focused on where we're seeing they're having some success is in three specific areas where they're actually really well positioned to have success if they leverage the step change in the economics that in the economics of innovation that cloud and AI provide. So some of the areas are sovereign AI. I think as digital trust and sovereignty become more part of national agendas, telcos are very well positioned to provide the AI foundation, the secure compliant infrastructure over their nationally trusted network to those unique customers that require sovereignty. The other area we're seeing is they're using generative AI and the economics to experiment, develop, and deploy new consumer type services, leveraging AI, like we're seeing Comcast and their smart home services, but they invested in New Haven to accelerate the adoption of home energy storage, as an example. Sky launches Sky Protect, which is a security platform using Vision AI for intelligent threat monitoring, but they bundle that with home insurance. So we're starting to see some new creative ways where they can get greater engagement with their customers in the consumer space. And then in the enterprise space, there's always opportunities to change the value chain or participate more in the value chain. One of the areas where they have a tremendous amount of experience and they're building AI and IP is in the contact center space. So we've been on this journey with a lot of telcos to transform their contact center. They're building virtual agents and chatbots, and they're getting insights from these conversations, and they have predictive analytics that they've built and churn models that they've built. They can really package this up and offer this as services to enterprise organizations that don't have that know-how and experience to do this themselves. So at the highest level, we're looking at sovereignty, more consumer-related services, and then getting more engaged in the enterprise value chain.
Let me ask you a follow-up question about sovereign AI. I think operators have the right asset mix to pursue that opportunity, but it seems like a time-bound opportunity. That seems like it's something that's going to happen in the next 1 to 2 years, and so they need to rise to meet the occasion or they will lose that business. Do they understand that?
I'm seeing acceleration in this area. I will also say that sovereign AI and sovereign cloud get mixed quite often, and they're actually two very distinct opportunities. I see a bit more acceleration in just sovereign AI. Like I got to buy GPUs, stand up racks, and see if anybody's interested type, market testing activity. Sovereign cloud is a bit more detailed and needs a much more complex business case because obviously it includes many more services. So I think what we're also seeing is that sovereign AI ultimately leads to more sovereign cloud type services because somebody may want to train their model, but then they're like, hey, do you have any storage? So then you kind of blend into the sovereign cloud opportunities. So we are seeing some acceleration in that space. So I do believe there's an amazing opportunity for them in the short term.
So as you get into these engagements with operators where they're trying to incorporate artificial intelligence into their network operations, do you ever find that exposes issues with their underlying data strategy and cloud strategy that need to be addressed before they can go forward with AI?
I think, listen, we've had an amazing journey with telcos that have done excellent data modernization in various parts. But I'll say, we've been on this journey with Vodafone, for example. Telus has been very public about their journey in migrating all of their data to Google Cloud. Most of it, I think, comes from the IT space. I think we're in, part of this announcement that we made at DTW on our autonomous networking framework. A lot of that, really, you need the data foundation that comes actually from the network side. So that's a lot of the work that we're doing now in terms of, understanding the different types of data you have in the network, what data actually impacts customer experience, what data model are we going to use, how do we architect the pipelines, because all that data, generally speaking, network data is still predominantly on-prem. So there's a bit more, it's not as natively integrated in the cloud, so we have a bit more work to do in terms of pre-processing data, et cetera. So I'll say on the IT side, it's been a bit cleaner because we've been doing it a bit longer, and then on the network side, we're just beginning that journey now.
All right, now I also wanted to hear from you about some of the other announcements you had at the show. I think in the run-up you made a pretty significant announcement with Ericsson, and then just today you had some news with Nokia, but can you maybe just take us through both of those?
Yeah, sure. So the Ericsson one is the first of its kind where they have their full stack 5G core being available as a SaaS service on Google Cloud. So we're pretty excited about that, and there's already been a significant amount of interest. I'll say that it's going to be a phased rollout and approach. Like immediately, we can support some use cases like private 5G, fixed wireless access, et cetera, and then more and more will come throughout the course of the year and next year. But again, it's excited about being in partnership with Ericsson, the first of its kind type service offering. The Nokia announcement this morning, also very excited about, is part of our autonomous networking framework. So we've launched our autonomous networking framework, which is really a glimpse into Google's playbook on how we operate our network. So as you may or may not know, we run the largest private network in the world, over 2 million miles of fiber. We have some very complex services that run on our network, like YouTube and search and maps, et cetera. But we do all of that, largest network, with a fraction of the people that a regional operator would have in the United States. And that's because of all the automation that's been built in to our network. So we're taking the infrastructure and the tools like Spanner and BigQuery and Vertex and our models, we're packaging it up with a prescriptive and opinionated framework on how a telco could actually start their journey in automating their network. So on top of working with telcos directly, we're very partner oriented. So we have folks like Nokia that are building their autonomous networking framework on top of our platform to be able to take that offering to their customers as well. So customers will have choice whether to work directly with Google or whether to work with strong partners like Nokia in this case. So, we have others as well that have also, as part of our announcement, Ericsson was part of our announcement, Amdocs was part of our announcement, again, all building their autonomous networking framework on Google Cloud.
I think that's been one of the takeaways from the show for me, is that this is very much a team sport at this point in time.
Again, it's about scale, it's about knowledge and experience. Folks like Amdocs and Nokia and Ericsson, a lot of the use cases that we start with in autonomous networking has been in the RAN anomaly detection, for example. And when you look to people like Ericsson and Nokia, that's the core of what they've been doing for years and have been extremely successful. So they also have a really good point of view and understand their own data models, et cetera. So very strong partnership in that area, and it is a team sport. We all help each other scale.
So for operators who are looking to leverage AI, both generative, agentic, more classical tooling, what sort of advice would you give them as they try to balance, internal facing network efficiencies and then delivery of new services that they can monetize?
I would say at a high level, you need to make sure that it's not a fragmented approach at the highest level. And I've always said that what we learn from history is that we don't learn from history. So, we've gone through a lot of challenges with a lot of our telco partners because of the data silos that exist, because of the fragmented technology that exists in the network today. And generally it's been fragmented because it was built to reflect the organization, right? So every organization or every business unit kind of made their own technology decisions without a larger view of what we want to accomplish more strategically and long term, and that's just human nature. But now we've dealt with data silos, and during this data migration, that's the reason why there's an advantage today. So you don't want to go from building fragmented technology to building fragmented AI. So let's make sure that we don't repeat the kind of the mistakes in the past. And I'm not referring to what models you use, right? Customers will always choose, the right model for their use case, but it's ultimately the data foundation, it's the pipelines, it's how do I ensure everyone in my company has access, to that AI platform and foundation that I'm building. So that's really, I think, the one piece of advice is making sure that it's not a fragmented strategy, it's a multidimensional strategy. And then the second piece is innovation. So do not deter innovation, encourage 10x type thinking. I've seen telcos that have been very successful in AI allow 3 or 4 people to reimagine customer journeys and code their way to value by standing up small pilots or POCs and proving out their business and use case. So it's pretty exciting when you have that type of culture in an organization.
It's great advice, and I really appreciate you taking the time to share it with our audience,
Love
Angelo.
being here. Thank you.